Hi, it's Denise DiGrigoli here at the HN Network every Tuesday live with The Drive. The Drive is a motivational show that seeks to bring people, places, ideas, and organizations together that help fuel our lives. How we fuel our lives, our mind, our body, our spirit creates the lifestyle we live. So the interesting thing about today's show is we're going to talk about creative resolutions. But before we jump into creative resolutions, I wanted to show you a creative idea, because when you're using your creativity, it opens up so many other doors, so many other possibilities and solutions. And if you've watched me before on The Drive, you know that I don't like to dump stuff in the landfill. I'm all about repurposing and finding new things so that we can make our environment even a better place. This happens to be a very interesting cake plate that was repurposed to me by my friend Linda, who built a new house. And the glass vase just happened to fit so neatly on top. And my daughter Ava and I had taken a class at Terrain, and we learned how to build terrariums. So one of the #1 resolutions this year, while doing research for the show, I found was that people really want to have more family time. The interesting thing about this project was it was family time. We repurposed things. You'll see there's a shell in there from when we took a recent trip to Florida to visit my brother. So not only did this serve the purpose of creativity and not filling up the landfill, it really created a positive dialogue in the house. So if you were to say to me, you know what, Denise, I'm really not into that because it doesn't match the style of my house, make it. Maybe bring it to someone in the hospital or someone that needs a house visit or a friend who's got a new business and needs something on their entrance reception. The idea of making it and giving it also is very positive energy for the new year. Beyond that, one of the top goals, of course, was fitness. And I love this app called FitPal. FitPal is an Under Armour product, and it's free online. And just so you know, we don't get paid for any of our endorsements here. It's just things I like. The idea with FitPal is it will allow you to scan the barcodes of any food that you eat. So that's pretty cool. It makes it very easy. And if you cycle and you use an app called Strava, many of these types of programs sync up with FitPal. So it's a great way to keep all of your activities and your nutrition in one spot. And lastly, you know, I love the daily drive. Writing and tracking your intentions is extremely important. When you track your progress, it sort of motivates you and fuels you for the next day or the next small baby step towards whatever you're trying to achieve. So those are 3 little steps before you meet my fabulous guest, Carol Danheiser.
Carol, welcome back.
Thank you.
Pleasure to see
It's great to be here again.
Last year we were just on radio. So
yes, we were.
This is very cool.
Yes, we were.
Carol is a journalist and editor. And recently you've opened and co-founded a new writer studio in Fairfield County Writer Studio.
Absolutely.
In Westport. We're going to show the website to
oh, thank you.
Sort of towards the end. But what I love about Carol is you've written many books.
I have, yeah.
You've written books on resolutions and how to create success.
Yes, I have.
You've been honored by the White House.
Thank you.
Yes. You've been nominated for a few Emmys.
Haven't won yet. Maybe this is it.
Doesn't matter.
Today's the show.
But you've got a wealth of knowledge and experience, and you're very understated in your presence. And I just love you because you're so extremely smart. And what I loved about our last meeting, when we were talking about all the journalism and where you've been all over the world and stories you've written, is that it really enlightened me that there is so much more to being creative than, of course, I come out of the art world. And understanding what it takes to be a creative writer was really very interesting to me. So today we're going to talk about creative resolutions. And the fun thing was we didn't really agree whether they worked or not. Actually, I said they didn't work.
I love that.
And you said they did.
Yes.
And I had research to prove that, you know, many people lose track of them in the first 4 weeks.
Right.
But you're here to tell us differently.
Well, yes, I am.
Okay. So tell us about some of the books you've written.
Well, I can tell you about some of the books I've written as they pertain to resolutions.
Okay.
Because 2 of the books I've written have a lot to do with resolutions. One is called I Need to Get in Shape. Now what? And that's a common resolution.
That goes back to my FitPal recommendation.
That's exactly right. Another one I ghost wrote is called I Haven't Saved a Dime. Now what? That's another common resolution, to put more money aside, whether it's for retirement or whatever. And I often will have a resolution that has to do with writing or my career, and believe it or not, they're kind of the same thing. One seems like it's money, one seems like it's food, and the other seems like it's writing, for example. But in order for them to be manifested, they all take the same strategies.
So you're basically saying that any resolution you come up with has got a level of creativity.
Well, most any. You know, if you want to have world peace, it's a noble resolution. But well, I'm sure you would need creativity for that as well. That's less attainable. So I think the first thing to think about in having a resolution is this something that's attainable?
Right.
And in this time period that I've designed for it. So in a year's time, for example, but people think of a New Year's resolution as a plan for a year.
Right.
I like to think of it as either an ongoing thing or a hope to achieve something in time, whether it's a year or beyond a year.
Well, some of the research I read said you need to have somebody that you're accountable to. And we talked about this, maybe having an accountable buddy, a friend, but then there's also the other side to that. If you tell too many people, you water it down, you get the naysayers in, they throw your energy off. So what I want to leave our viewers with today is some credible tips and some things on either side of the fence, because I also read coming back from Florida that yes, most resolutions don't succeed inside of 4 weeks, but writing them down actually leads to achievement. Now, because you are a writer extraordinaire, I know you can chime in on this.
well, it's funny
Does
you
writing
said that.
work, Carol?
My first item here in my high tech is you need to make a list. Are we allowed to talk about the wonders of your daily drive?
A little bit.
Okay, well, one thing that you talk about in your daily drive really is to be accountable to yourself.
Right.
So whether it's to yourself or to your community, which is another part we talked about, spreading the word and having a community to help you get there. The benefit of writing it down is to help you sort it out. So, for example, let's use fitness. Okay.
Let's use fitness because it's a hot topic for every person this time of year.
And what people tend to say often is I want to lose weight.
Yeah.
That's a negative. You don't need to be negative in making a
How
resolution.
about I want to reduce weight?
No, how about I want to get fit? I want to get fit so
Okay.
I can feel better, so I can do more things with my family.
Does that mean making my fat fit, Carol?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe it means
So
coming.
I want to look at it creatively.
Maybe it means coming to terms with at what weight you feel comfortable.
Okay, that's better.
So why do you want to get fit? Why do you want to? In my case, 2 years ago, I wanted to write a novel. Why do I want to write a novel? Why do you want to save more money? So in this plan, you make up first before you come up with how am I going to get there. Why am I doing this? What are the pros and what are the cons?
Yeah.
Because there's often a con to this New Year's resolution.
Right.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be in that boat to begin with.
For sure.
Right? So that's the negatives. But what are the pros and the cons? Why do I want to be fit? So your plan is first, what's your intention in having this resolution?
Right.
Do you want to be fit because you don't like the way you look or somebody else doesn't like the way you look? Well, that's a negative. So throw all that out.
Right.
Because maybe you'll feel better. You'll have more energy. You'll be able to.
Your health will improve.
Absolutely.
Right.
You'll get up in the mirror and want to go meet the day.
You want to try something new.
Absolutely.
Well, I said in one of my classes is that often people say to me, Denise, I'm not creative like you. Of course, we come from creative backgrounds, traditional creative backgrounds. And I'll say, but everything you do involves a creative decision. From the way you dress to selecting how you're going to spice your food. These are all creative decisions.
Right.
Many of the decisions we make every day are creative. And I want to focus on our topic of creative resolutions because
Great.
it might not seem like fitness is creative, but there's a level of creativity involved there that you need to be aware of. Well, you could call it mindful living, but like you said, what's the reason? Are you doing it for somebody else or are you doing it for yourself?
Right. And what's the positive reason why you're doing this? Right. So you make up your pros and cons. Now, if your desire is to quote unquote be more creative, you got to go a little farther than that. You know, where is your creativity in the day now, and what is it that you hope to that you either hope to learn or hope to do better, and how do you want to do that?
Right.
So if your challenge is you don't think there's enough creativity in the day, oh my gosh! Right now, the hottest selling books are adult coloring books.
Right.
You know, so maybe you start small. I have an absurd resolution this year, which is not attainable really because it's too broad sweeping. But I woke up on New Year's Day and I picked up the newspaper and the sun was shining and I had a cup of coffee and I said, I'm going to be happier this year.
You know what? That was number 3 on Good Morning America's resolution list. To be more happy this year, which is very, very broad.
Yeah, it's absurd because it's not measurable.
Right.
So one of the things in a resolution that people say is have a list of things that can be measurable. So when I decided I was going to write a novel a couple of years ago, 2 years ago.
You were just going to whip a novel out, Carol?
No, my resolution was measurable. I said I was going to write 200 words a day, which is nothing. It's 3.5 paragraphs. Well, some days I write all day long, practically. I'm not here writing now, but I will be later. And it's hard to write an additional 300 words, 200 words, excuse me. So 200 words 5 days a week. Guess what? That's 50,000 words. Who has time to write a novel? I don't have time to write a novel, but I have time to write 200 words almost 5 days, 5 of the 7 days a week. So maybe, you know, and you're getting fit. You and I had this when we were talking about before the show. You know, a pound is 3,300 calories. That's 1 pound. So who can't eat 110 calories fewer a day? That's
one less soda.
Well, it's no cream in the coffee. You know, it's itty bitty a tiny measurable step that you can take every day, so that you lose. If you do everything else the same, you're losing a pound a month just by not having cream in your coffee. And if you write, in my case, 200 words a day, 5 days a week. That's 50,000 words. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Well, what
if my goal was I want to write 50,000 words, I'd say to myself, that's absurd. But if you put it into measurable bits and in creativity, that's so easy to do. Then you find these little tiny windows in the day, not hours, but in your book, you have 10, 12 minutes.
9 minutes.
9 minutes.
You can do anything
minutes,
for 10 minutes. 9 minutes is easier.
You know, 5 minutes. There's so much you can do in 5 minutes. Say you want to be more creative musically, right? You go on. There's an amazing collection of concerts on YouTube. You can listen to a sonata, and that's it for your day. Your day is crazy, right? You close your door, you listen to a sonata, and you feel inspired musically. Maybe you don't. Or you find, the other thing that I love about YouTube is there's karaoke. Have you seen the karaoke where you put the karaoke version of your song and it shows you the words and you sing at the top of your lungs? What is the song? 3.5 minutes, right?
Right.
Okay, maybe you want to be more creative musically. Maybe you want to have a lofty musical goal. Well, great, but maybe you're just singing and paying attention to the words. If you want to write songs, for example, or listening to the music and feeling inspired.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, and what I think everybody needs to know is that when you're thinking creatively, breaking things down in new ways, new pieces, new parts, trying new things, then you're using that other side of your brain. You're using, whether we call it the left side, the creative side, that side of your brain. And when you toggle back and forth between the left and the right, which is very analytical, and you allow that sort of process to happen, then even more solutions come in. At least that's what I've found.
I agree. That's what you need to do. It's funny, but I think to be more creative.
Me, Carol, or the audience too?
One, you and me, and you and I and the audience, that for us to be, for you and I to be more creative, well, you're blessed with both sides of those, of your brain working together, but many people see themselves as one or the other, particularly if they see themselves as right brain people. They think it's a stretch to get into the left brain because, you know, I go to work every day with that work head on, but I need to reach to the other side to be creative on the page or on the screen or whatever I'm doing. But I think when you mentioned before being mindful, if you're setting an intention to be more creative, to be happier, to be whatever it is, to be more musical, to be more spiritual, to be more fit, to save more money, that you really need to come up with these tap into the right brain skills to help to help develop the left brain.
Well, I think for most people that are still sitting there going, I'm not creative and I can't do that, we all have a tendency to be maybe left dominant, right dominant brain, right? We're more creative, we're more analytical. But just allow, and some of that's, like you said, involves learning something new. YouTube is great for all types of educational videos, TED Talks. I mean, there's so many platforms out there now. Demi, I mean, there's so many online learning academies that are very inexpensive if you wanted to try something new. Often what we see even in our client base, in our, in the Troy Fine Art Services business, clients move on after we've worked with them in their homes, and they maybe are changing careers or retiring, whatever. And the thing they're trying is painting or writing. It's like they did their entire career and waited. And I say, don't wait, do it now.
Don't wait.
Do it now. Why are you going to wait till you retire? We can't, life is now.
And, if your resolution in general is to just kind of quote unquote be more creative, do the stuff you're bad at. I went to
do the stuff you're bad at.
Oh, one of those, I wish I could give them a shout out because it was really a lot of fun in Fairfield. They have, a mommy wine paint a picture thing. Yeah, and I went there and there was a picture on the wall. I am an awful painter, but they're so patient and kind, and they led us through the steps of painting the ship on the rock or whatever. And I felt like I was Picasso when I left. Maybe it was the wine, or maybe it was the instruction. But the
Funny
point
how
of the
that works.
instruction, and I know this sounds like a shout out for your class. Find instruction. Find someone to guide you. Now, we have a writer studio. There's plenty of places to get free writing instruction or creativity, guidance, free painting online. It's wonderful.
Well, there's a component of community that, if I'm going to bring it back to that is so important.
Absolutely.
Because when you do it alone, I even find that when Ava's practicing her music we have so many instruments in the basement, but it's a lonely thing alone.
Absolutely.
When there's a sense of community, you want to do it more.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that's got to be part of your resolution.
Absolutely.
Find somebody.
And
But
find somebody.
Not millions of people.
No, and find people who share your interest and desire to accomplish this goal in a creative way. Last year, one of my goals was to be a better fencer. I'm a fencer. And
You carry knives, Carol?
No, I don't. No, swords.
Swords, worse.
Yeah, there's always a sword in the car, mine or my kids or somebody's. And I was not a very good fencer, but I, by golly, was determined to be a better fencer because, I don't know, because.
Yeah.
So there's a great.
Because you won an award.
Well, after I made the resolution, but I have a great coach who I started working with. I have a great community of fencers in Fairfield.
And a few friends.
Fairfield Fencing Academy. They are friends and a community to help each other achieve a goal. And so, I could stay home and jump rope and do footwork and all that stuff that I do anyway. But it's more fun, like your daughter practicing, it's more fun to do it with other people.
Yeah. So
So it doesn't feel like pain and suffering or punishment or, any of the negatives that come with getting fit. It's tiring, it's exhausting. But if you're doing it with other people, it's so much fun. Whether that's writing, painting with, the ship on the, on the water, or fencing, or saving, or any one of these things.
So
it's so much fun with others. You said naysayers, and that troubled me. Stay away from the naysayers.
Yeah.
Who needs, life's too short to be around you
Well,
can't.
well,
Find the you can.
Sometimes you can be blindsided by what could be your best friend. Why do you want to try that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so sometimes we short circuit ourselves
Yeah.
only because we let it out maybe unintentionally, and we get some feedback and we don't know how to process that feedback other
Yeah.
than like, oh yeah, she's probably right. I probably shouldn't do that.
But you know what, Denise? That's a good question. Why do you want to try that? Why? I don't know. But when you understand why you're making this resolution, that's a real motivator.
I have a client right now that's always saying, come to her staff, come out of your comfort zone. And I think, well, as an entrepreneur, we know that. You're always out of your comfort zone. And more people maybe, my suggestion for a resolution would be, come out of your comfort zone. Try something different. And find a buddy or your community where you can really try that. And don't wait for retirement. So we're getting a little signal, friends, that it's time to take a quick break. We'll be back in about 2 minutes with Carol Danheiser of Fairfield County's Writer Studio.
Fairfield County Writers Studio.
And we're talking about creative resolutions, what they are, what they mean, and how to make them real for you. We'll be right back. Thanks.
Darien Sport Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sport Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances. Where community comes first. A place where there's more than one kind of interest. Where automation will never replace consideration. Where they not only know your name, they know your dog's name too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your local destination for the best of the holidays. Shop Stewart's for the freshest produce, certified prime rib roasts, magnolia wreaths, fresh baked pies, gingerbread houses, Christmas candies, and the season's best wine and craft brews right next door at Stewart's Spirits. Shop Walter Stewart's, 229 Elm Street in New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break, weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network.
Welcome back. It's Denise DiGrigoli here at HAN Network, live every Tuesday with The Drive. What's The Drive about? It's motivational talk with a little wit and humor. It's about all things that move us forward. How we fuel our mind, body, spirit creates the lifestyle we live. And every week we seek to bring on people, places, ideas, organizations that will help you maybe move forward, look at things a little bit differently. This week we're talking about creative resolutions. And the interesting thing is all resolutions have a creative component. And we're talking about what it means to make them real for yourself. And I have an expert on who's written many books, been honored through the White House, written documentaries for PBS, National Geographic, the list goes on and on. Written several books on how to create success.
Sort of, yeah.
Sort of?
On achieving a goal, how-to. Several how-to. Yeah.
She's our expert on how-to.
Yeah, there you go.
And an avid fencer and a good friend of mine. Welcome back,
That's
Carol.
the most important part.
Yeah, the avid fencer. As long as you don't bring...
No, the good friend.
As long as you bring the swords on the show. Okay, so we've been talking about, well, first of all, I'm of the mindset they don't stick.
Yes.
But I'm also a believer in being mindful and setting intentions. And I believe in writing it down and sort of recommitting. And I think my take is that many people don't have the type of follow-through they believe they have, and they need to maybe recommit to their commitment.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, Carol. Do you believe that?
You know, I I happened to read this morning something from Susie Orman, who is a financial planning personality, I guess, more than anything else. And this was sort of her quote. Every choice in every day helps me achieve a goal. Every choice in every day helps me achieve a goal. This is a choice, whatever your resolution is a choice to be good to yourself. And what struck me about that is many people think of the resolution as not an opportunity to be good to yourself, but just the opposite, deprivation of some sort.
Good point.
And I thought,
like resolutions. Oh no, I have to make these resolutions.
Feel myself, by golly, and I'm going to plow through. No.
No.
It's a chance. It's a choice to be good to yourself. Now, that's a hard thing to say if I'm looking at a beautiful ice cream sundae, and the choice, to not eat it. How is that a choice to be good to myself? Okay, I get that. But in the long run, you just, I think, remember that these little choices, maybe the hot fudge sundae isn't a little choice, but the bag of chips is a little choice. Not eating that is because you're looking for the greater good for yourself.
Well, that's what we were talking about creative solutions before. So if you want the hot fudge sundae, maybe you've got to take a long walk.
Or maybe
you've got to skip dinner.
Maybe you love this hot fudge sundae.
And then have it.
Absolutely. Maybe it's just that,
But don't have it every single day of every single minute.
Hot fudge sundaes, sorry. I don't know if I could say crappy. I eat great hot fudge sundaes, and I love every second of them. But yeah, maybe then I'm on that treadmill while I'm doing my email. I mean,
so it is about a choice.
Absolutely.
I can have this, but I might need to do that.
Yeah, and just understand, like if your resolution is, now this is not often a creative resolution, but sometimes a deprivation. That choice you're making is helping you in the greater good. Now, if you want to be more creative, what people don't often talk about when it comes to resolutions is, why aren't you more creative now? You don't have time. People think they don't have money. Money has nothing to do with it. You could be creative, in a million ways that don't include a penny. But you don't have time. So every minute of the 24 hours is a decision. How are you going to spend this time? With your family, maybe, with your at work, maybe.
There's coming from a sales background, there's an old adage that says, when someone says, I don't have time, they don't want to make the time. Yeah. Because trust me, if you really wanted whatever it is, you would make the time.
Yeah.
We all fit in that extra, cruising on Facebook for 15 minutes to find our old friend.
Yeah.
Or, when I'm on Zulily looking for the next greatest bargain, and I've just wasted 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you haven't wasted it. You've spent it doing something maybe that gives you pleasure or that gives your mind a break or whatever. And you talked about that Fit app. What's it called?
FitPal.
FitPal.
It's by, they're going to kill me at home, Under Armour. I always say Armor All,
Okay,
Under Armour.
Armor All. So you clean your car and you keep track of your fitness. So FitPal. FitPal, I don't know what it is, but I'm guessing it's a way to essentially chronicle your day.
Yeah,
right?
you chronicle your day.
So there are many writers use these little gadgets that keep them off of the internet.
Like what?
I don't even know what they're called because I don't use them. But they just they turn off your internet. I'm pretty good about self-regulating.
Right.
But if you find you're on Facebook, why are you on Facebook? Maybe you want community. Maybe you need to give your head a brain a break. That's all real.
Yeah.
But if your resolution is to be more X, maybe then for a day you chronicle as you would with the Fit app.
Or the Daily Drive.
Or the Daily Drive. How am I spending my day? So from, I don't know, 11 to 11:11, I was on Facebook. Okay, that doesn't seem like anything at the time, right? It's 11 minutes. But maybe that's an hour at the end of the week.
Well, Carol, the other app that we talked about, and you were on this one time, was called Moments. And Moments will tell you, I've been on my phone for 34 minutes. And it'll tell you how many times I picked up my phone. And I installed this across the board in our house, just so we could see, is it necessary to be on the phone yesterday 2 hours and 20 minutes?
Well, I don't know.
Was it?
You called me like 7 times.
Well, was it for business purposes or was I on Facebook?
Maybe it was necessary.
Right. Maybe it was.
Maybe, maybe you needed to talk to people because we're all online and some people, I prefer to communicate, believe it or not, talking on the phone rather than online. But usually what I do is I find a task I have to do. So I'm making dinner when I'm on the phone, or I don't know.
Right, you're kind of maximizing your time.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm trying to also do, my words for this year are self-care and being mindful and being in the moment, because I'm always way over there at the next project. And I find like I make resolutions and I will actually see them through to the end, but I don't call them resolutions. I call them intentions. You know why I call them intentions? Because if I want to change them along as we go along, then I can change them because it's my intention. A resolution to me is absolute. I resolved to lose 10 pounds. I didn't do it. Oh my God, I'm the loser. And I think we have to be mindful of how we use our words. I always say, again, back to a sales background, it never stinks. It has unique aroma.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah. That's why you're in marketing.
It's never free. It's complimentary.
I like that.
So I feel like when people are setting their so-called resolutions, what's your intention for yourself?
Right.
And then how can we create momentum and make a commitment? Now you've written these books and how to get in shape and how to save money. How do you get people in your literature to actually bite down and make a commitment and then create the momentum?
First of all, they've bought the book. Right? They bought a book.
But they threw it in the back seat of the car.
Yeah, but still they bought it. So you mentioned mindfulness, right? Part of being happy, I know, is mindfulness. So I signed up for an online class that starts in February. It's one of the MOOC classes, whatever that stands for, free online classes. And it was in the top 5 most popular classes in the world, actually. It wasn't even in the United States. And it was how to be more mindful. Now the beauty of this online class is I could do it in my bunny slippers at 10 o'clock at night, so it's not taking away from my work.
Glad to see you have your bunny slippers.
Yes, thank you. And I'm going to share that link with you because you want to be more mindful too. So what we've just done is we've both expressed to each other a desire to be more something, mindful, happy, a strategy for getting there, taking this class, and made a community. So I'm going to call you or email you and say, hey, did you see that lesson this week? What did you think?
And I'm going to say I wrote it down in my daily drive.
Yeah, did you do it? Did you not? Oh, you didn't. What got in the way? Or, oh, but I'm going to do it. Okay, great. Next. That accomplishes so many things. The first thing is I signed up for the class. It's free. It's online. If I fall off, I've signed up for a number of online classes over the years in a desire to be able to do something better. And sometimes I keep with them and sometimes I don't. But, so am I a loser if I don't? I hope not.
No.
I'm trying.
I think the public at large has a very critical inner voice, and we right away say, we didn't stick with it. Now, I think that's different than when you have your child in sports and they want to bag it after week 1. There's a difference between going to the finish line and a stick-to-itiveness and just saying, you know what, my priorities, such as paying my bills, have to be in front of that.
That's true.
And then my self-care, I need, so many hours of sleep a night or I'm just no good to anyone. That old saying, the airplane, put the mask on first before you can help anyone else.
Absolutely.
So I feel like people are very hard on themselves. So when it comes time to recommit to that so-called resolution or intention, I didn't do it for 5 days, Denise. I'm quitting it.
Yeah, that is such a good point. That's such a good point.
Now, why is the point? I didn't do it for 5. I'm off the boat. And I say you're not off the boat. Right?
Yes.
In the same way I might have a bad hair day 4 days in a row. Doesn't mean I'm getting a wig.
Yeah. Well, so I've seen 6 weeks and I've seen 12 weeks. Different studies that say if you keep something up for six weeks or 12 weeks, it's a habit. And if you haven't done it for the 6 or the 12, you're in trouble. So if you keep your resolution
Those are consecutive days?
Consecutive weeks, yeah. So if, that means you're good for 3 months, right? If you're able to do it for 3 months, maybe it becomes more of a lifestyle or part of your day than just, another day I have to get on this treadmill. Speaking of the treadmill and back to fitness or creativity or any number of those things, people sometimes when they attempt to achieve whatever it is they're trying to achieve, fitness or whatever, They want to lose 50 pounds, and they go at it like maniacs. They stop eating their chips, and they go to the gym, and you can't even move the next day. And, you know, forget it. It's crazy.
Carol, do you know I eat chips?
I love chips. Trader Joe's Organic. There you go. There's another shout
Keto.
out. Not paid.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, none of our
Organic
endorsements are
potatoes.
paid, guys.
No,
It's just stuff we like.
Yes, if it's food, I could talk about food all day. Because I love to eat. You know, so I think I'm fit.
Yeah.
But I love to eat. I love good food. And every day you make this little tiny choice to maybe exercise a little more, a little more. You know, you don't have to start if it's fitness. Don't go on the treadmill the first day for, you know, a half an hour and then you're dying. Go take a little walk around the block and eat a couple less chips, fewer chips, and then you just build from there. And if you have a day when, you know, some diets, for example, they have an off day. So you screw up for a day. So what? You know, just keep going forward.
So I read that the top resolutions are, this year in particular, save more, spend less.
Yeah.
Spend more time with family.
Yeah.
Live more in the moment and live
Yeah.
my life to the fullest.
That's a hard one.
And
for
of
me.
course, become fit and lose weight.
Maybe.
And
yeah.
and trailing behind where the proverbial stop smoking, drinking.
And not write more? No. I'm
Not
kidding.
write more,
That's
right.
fine, yeah.
So I say oftentimes in a daily drive class, if you've written it down 100 times, I want to whatever. Maybe, and it's not happening, and it's been on your mind and part of your intentions all year. Like there's one thing that's been in my journal for, we'll say, 10 years. I'm not going to say what it is.
Oh, come on.
No.
Say what it is.
But I haven't necessarily achieved it. And at some point, I figure it's me sort of in a battle with myself. So I'm letting it go this year.
Yeah.
And it's coming off the list after 10 years.
Huh.
It could go back on next
Well,
year
do you know why you haven't achieved it?
because it allows me to be distracted. It's my distraction.
Yeah.
So it gives me something to complain about. It gives me something not to do because I'm very much a person that's in the do.
Right.
And
do you really want to do it?
And that's what I say to people. Do I really want to do it or just give me something to complain about?
Yeah.
Is everything all right without it?
Yeah.
So I think you have to ask yourself, if you've had something on your list for 10 years, do you really want to do it?
Yeah, why is
Are you just driving yourself nuts?
Why is it still on the list? And are you
Right.
happy that you're not there because it gives you something to complain about? You know, I met with somebody the other day, and I think she was going to bite my head off at the time, but we were talking about fitness, and she said, "Oh, that's your metabolism. You know, you're lucky you're born that way." And I thought, you have no idea. You have no idea what I have to do to keep fit because I love to eat, and it is not my metabolism. Well, your metabolism is kick-started if you work out in the morning, but you know, I have been an athlete for a long, long time, and oh yeah, it's little itty bitty steps. You know, if you look at quote unquote creative people, if they're creative and they're making a living by their creativity, those people are busting their butts.
And then, you know, the other side of that is that the creative people will say, I haven't had any time to be creative. And it's almost like they're drained of the water that feeds them.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect opportunity to take a break.
Yeah.
I'm getting the signal that we need to take a quick break. So we'll be right back.
We're going to
It's
stretch.
The Drive with Denise DiGrigoli and my friend Carol here on HN Network.
So we're
Discover the Wilburton Inn in Manchester, Vermont, a 30-acre historic estate featuring a turn-of-the-century mansion with elegant inn guest rooms and 7 large private vacation homes, perfect for ski vacations and holiday celebrations. Special offer on select rooms and houses. Stay 2 nights, get the 3rd night free through Christmas Day. CNN has called the Wilburton one of the top 8 mansion hotels in America. Call 802-362-2500 or visit wilburtoninn.com for more information.
Denali is your outdoor retail destination in the Westfield Trumbull Mall. For the last 21 years, we have carefully selected clothing, footwear, and gear from a variety of the best outdoor brands, such as the North Face, Patagonia, Vineyard Vines, UGG, Merrell, GoPro, New Balance, and many more. Our stores have a friendly, knowledgeable staff to help you with all of your running, hiking, and cold weather needs, and in discovering all things outdoorsy and awesome. Visit us in the Westfield Trumbull Mall or online at denalioutdoor.com.
Find over 1,000 special stories at Hospital for Special Surgery. Go to hss.edu/backinthegame.
I was jogging 5 months after my cartilage tear.
Skiing a year after hip surgery.
And playing grandma 4 weeks after hip replacement.
One special hospital, 1,000 special stories. See Connecticut patients at hss.edu/CT.
In Pound Ridge since 1993, the Wine Connection is one of America's best wine shops. Visit our beautiful store for the greatest in wine and knowledgeable service. With wonderful values from around the world to collectibles for your cellar, we are your one-stop source. Visit our online shop at wineconn.com and make sure to sign up for email updates. With great offers, new arrivals, and special events, don't miss all the action at The Wine Connection, including tastings every weekend. The Wine Connection, located at 32 Westchester Avenue, Pound Ridge, New York.
Tired of all the bull? Relax and enjoy the experience of buying a car at Pamby Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram. No bull allowed.
Well, there's still a bite out on the water. Most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
We're back. It's Denise DiGrigoli here at HN Network every Tuesday live with the motivational talk show, The Drive. We seek to bring people, ideas, places together that move you forward and help you fuel your mind, body, spirit, and create a better lifestyle. And there's no better kickoff guest for 2016 than my friend Carol Danheiser, who is one of the co-founders of Fairfield County Writers Studio.
Yes.
Let's get it straight.
Thank you.
And clear.
Thank you.
And we've talked a lot about creative resolutions and intentions and breaking them down into little pieces, perhaps getting a buddy involved so you have a little accountability and sort of that stick-to-itness. Now I really want to focus in on writing, because we've gotten so engaged in technology that it's actually over-leveraged our lifestyles. Right?
In many cases, yeah.
Many cases, we're overusing that.
Yeah.
And I, as an artist and an artistic background, know the importance of actually using these with this to create, beyond art, something different when you write it down. So, and I know many writers type on their typewriters or their laptops or whatever they're doing, but I want to talk about writing. What does that mean? You've been writing, you've got awards, you've got a plethora of degrees, Columbia grad, all kinds of crazy stuff. What does it mean?
Lions in the house.
Yeah, lions in the house. What does it mean?
To be a writer?
Why is writing important, Carol?
Oh, gosh.
Come on.
Why is it? You have a.
Does Eric need to write?
You have another 2 hours?
Does Kate need to write?
No, neither of them needs to write, but perhaps they want to tell their story.
Tell me about that.
Many, many, many people long to tell a story, whether it's...
as opposed to gossiping on the telephone.
Well, that's a story too.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people think they can't write or they can't be a storyteller. But boy, if they're a good gossip on the telephone, they're an excellent storyteller anyway. You know, being creative just means trying to find a way to channel what's going on in here and in here in a different medium, right? Maybe you paint, maybe you write music, maybe you write words, maybe you make videos. There's all different ways to tell a story, and that's how many writers write, to make sense of their own life, even if it's a piece of fiction, especially if it's a piece of fiction, and that's just their way to figure it out, and it has become so popular. I'm going to give a shout out to the other 2 writers' workshops in Westport. We are the 3rd. Westport has long been a creative center.
Absolutely.
And we have the Fairfield County Writers Studio in Westport. And I've had writers' workshops in Fairfield. I live in Fairfield for since 2001. So
Right.
15 years. Oh, my goodness. And my partner, Tessa, has been, she teaches at Sarah Lawrence, and
Right.
she's had her own writers' workshops as well. And we have very similar mindset, she and I. We're trying to create a positive community where writers can, emerging and professional writers can grow, can learn and grow. And as a professional writer, you know, it can be very lonely. It's me and my laptop at the library, and there are others, you know, around.
Do you ever write by hand?
Often, yeah. When I'm writing,
is there something different in your writing between
well,
hand
you know
and
what?
technology?
It's funny you should. A million people will disagree with this, but I find as a teacher and a writer that when one is writing from the heart, they use their hand, and if one is writing from the brain, they use their laptop. So I have workshops in which people write to prompts, and my workshops, a couple of them anyway, are nonfiction memoir-esque writing to prompts. And I don't let people bring their laptops in there. I mean, unless they have a disability which prevents them from using a hand, from using this. I really want them to do this, because we're all smart and we're all thinkers, and when you do this, you think you have to accomplish a goal. And when you do this, you have to open your heart. I don't know, that's my thing.
And the writing prompts in the Daily Drive are not telling your story, but accessing you, so you know what you really, your purpose, right? We were talking in the beginning of the show, making your resolutions your own. Not what your neighbor's doing, not what your husband is telling you to do, or what your kids think you should do, or your best friend, or your significant other. It's really, when you write to prompts, I think it is the jumping point for a new type of creativity.
Oh, absolutely. You know,
it's like these adult coloring books.
I took my partner's class. She has writing to prompts fiction, and she just lead you by the hand. We try to get people writing in there. It's an unusual kind of arrangement we have going there, but it's great. It's my shout out for the new studio. We have great faculty. But I took her class just for a hoot. I'm typically not a fiction writer, even though I said I'm writing a novel, but I make my money as a nonfiction writer. So I am in her class, and she just gives me these prompts, and stuff springs to life. I don't understand it, but
So if somebody wasn't a writer and they're listening and they're thinking about their resolutions and what they want to do, I think we could offer the suggestion to write down your intention or your resolution in a positive statement, bringing it back to the beginning of the show. And would you agree with me to write it as if it's already happening? Like I'm thankful that I am in a writer's class.
If it's a statement of gratitude, absolutely.
I'm thankful that I'm learning something in my writings class.
I don't know. I think
I'm working towards being a novelist.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm working towards my 200 words a day.
Yeah, I think you're better off writing your 200 words a day, but that's just me.
Well, if you're
more
stuck,
left-brained than I am. If you're stuck, you pair up with somebody. Before Tessa and I started the studio years ago, we would be writing partners, and we write completely different things. But part of that was accountability, where we would meet. She lives in Westport and I'm in Fairfield. We would meet at the Pequot Library, which is a lovely place.
Another shout out to Pequot, which is a great library.
Oh my gosh, and the Fairfield Library.
And Westport Library. I mean, we've got great libraries.
I love libraries. And we would go there and we would yak, but we try to keep the talking to a minimum, even though I would rather talk with her all afternoon than write. Who wouldn't, right? You'd rather, that's why people are on Facebook. They'd rather just be pals. But so we'd write and then we'd go home. And after a while, it would take me 20 minutes to get to the library and 20 to get back. And I thought, really? Am I spending 40 minutes to write for an hour? So a few times we said, okay, we're going to write at the same time, but from our homes. We won't get the phone. We won't get email. We'll ignore all the stuff. So we'd call and go, you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Okay.
Did it work?
You promised? Yeah, for 2 hours or an hour. I mean, that's awesome. So you don't, it's not any, you don't have to spend a lot of money on a class. You don't have to take all this big time. Figure out the time, this little window that
9 minutes.
9 minutes.
9 minutes.
10 minutes or whatever the thing is. And you call your friend Denise and you go, Denise, I'm going to sing, whatever song it is.
Karaoke
my
from
karaoke. And what are you going to do? You're going to do your mindful meditation? Okay, I'll call you back in 15 minutes. Or I'll send you a text. Did you do it? I did it. There you go. Commitment, validation, affirmation. It's great. So find a buddy. Forget the why are you doing that buddies. I mean, maybe you want to go do something else with it.
I have a little thing that pops up on my phone, and it's also in my paper planner, because I think old school paper planners and daily drives are fabulous.
Actually, I have.
And I might run both of them because it depends, and they all kind of move me forward. But I look at something every day that says I will recommit to the commitment I made to X intention, and I'm deciding, of course, not to say, oh, I'm going to lose 500 pounds by the end of the year, or I'm going to learn how to speak Italian, next month. We plan on taking a little trip. So I'm breaking it down into little steps, but I'm recommitting every day. So I'm really asking myself, is this an intention you really want?
Yeah.
Do you really want it?
Yeah.
Because if not, there's a lot of other things begging for your attention.
And how can I do it?
And right.
So speaking Italian, right? I have one of my, what did you say, what about the degrees? I happen to have
you have a plethora of degrees, Carol.
One of them happens to be in Italian.
You have a degree in Italian?
Yes, and I used to speak Italian quite well.
No more surprises today.
And I don't have the opportunity to do that. And I'm very sad about it. And I thought, what do you mean you don't have the opportunity? The internet is at your fingertips. So I decided, I don't know if anybody out there, maybe you librarians, if anybody out there knows where I can get Italian books on tape, I'm going to play an Italian book on tape. I am a journalism instructor at Quinnipiac, and it's about 50 minutes from Quinnipiac to my house. So I won't play it on the way in because I want to prepare for class. But on the way back, it's just a wonderful way to just get myself home.
Are you going to Italy with us in April, Carol?
I will. You want me to? If you're paying, I'm there. Andiamo, andiamo.
Listo, prego.
But so I thought, okay, I can lament that my Italian is going by the wayside, or I can find a manageable way to do it. Am I going to do it every day? No. I hope to do it Tuesday and Thursday on my way back from Quinnipiac. Well, some days I won't. And so what? But it's closer, even if I do it one time, it's closer, than I've come in a couple of years to practice my Italian. So I guess that's a resolution too. I have like 7 of them, but that's another one.
I'm getting the big wrap up. If you could put up the image of Carol's faculty and herself.
Oh, they're so great. Oh no, that's our classroom.
That's the class, but it's Fairfield County Writers Studio.
Yep.
And if you could throw up the image of the book I sent you.
Writers there's my faculty. They are so awesome. Oh my God, they're great. So.
And if you can throw up the image of the daily drive, I sent that over to Kate. So you've gotten a whole bunch of stuff here today, everyone. The ways to make your intentions into your creative resolutions are to leverage your technology, find a buddy, break it down and do one little thing every day, recommit, attach a number to whatever it is you're doing, and don't adopt someone else's intentions. Let them be your own. And don't quit before the finish line.
I was going to say, stay positive. If you find
and write it out.
You haven't done it, keep
write
going.
It out. Write your intentions out and write them in a positive statement. You steer your energy. There's one steering wheel in a car for a good reason. Carol, you going to come back next year?
I would love to.
Best of luck in your new business.
Thank you.
So great.
Thanks for having me.
So glad you came on today.
I am too.
Happy New Year, and to everyone over there at Fairfield County Writers Studio.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, it's been a great jump start to the new year. I hope you'll join us again next week here live, 12:30 at the HN Network, where you can find us on demand. I look forward to another great year. Thanks.